Welcome back to Pain-Free Living. My name is Dr. Andrew Grecki, owner of Superior Physical Therapy. I want to start today's episode describing to you what I commonly hear from people that are currently dealing with hip pain. So typically, when we're dealing with hip pain, the more that we move, the more activities that we do causes more pain. And so most commonly, the list of complaints, especially as time goes on, typically grows larger. Usually it starts out with my hip was hurting when I was walking or standing for long periods of time. By far, the two most common complaints that people are dealing with, their hip is hurting during those activities. Then as things progress, typically what you'll hear is, it now hurts when I get in and out of my car. Then, believe it or not, sleeping actually becomes a really challenging thing for people. We're gonna talk about later in the show why that is and what type of hip pain that actually is. But when we have pain on the side of our hips, that can be a reason why we're not sleeping well. The job that we're doing at work to support our family, that becomes challenging. And sometimes we actually have to switch our job because of our hip pain. That's not a good situation. And then really, if it's bad enough, it affects our ability to do things we enjoy, like playing with our kids or our grandkids. And so in today's show, we're really going to try to talk about ways that we can relieve pain during movement so you can get back to all those activities that you love and that you need to do in order to have a happy life. And we want to do that by avoiding medications, injections, and surgery. So that's going to be kind of the highlight of today's show. This episode is for you, number one, if you want to avoid medications, injections, and surgery. That's really going to be the theme here. It's also for you if you want to find a permanent solution. So that's going to be the key. Most of the treatments we'll talk about that people get for hip pain are just altering the symptoms or masking the symptoms. And so we really want to find a permanent solution for our hip pain. This is for you if you want to not be dependent on other people. So as we're in pain and our movements and activities become challenging, you'll find that you become more dependent. Maybe you can no longer put on your socks and shoes or your pants, or maybe you can no longer do yard work. And so you need your spouse to do that for you. So if you want to become independent and not dependent on other people, this episode is absolutely going to be for you. Another thing that is important to think about is if you want to sleep better again, this is absolutely for you. And really, sleep then affects our mood. And so I would say that if you want to be in a better mood, this is going to be for you. You're going to find lots of value today. And then again, mood, ultimately, it's going to affect how we're treating the people around us. And so if you find yourself in pain, you're not sleeping well, you're in a bad mood, you're kind of grumpy, and you're treating the people around you poorly, this is going to be something that I think will be valuable for you. So that's all positive stuff. Now let's real quick hit on who it's not for. So this is not for you if you want to find a quick fix. Most quick fixes in healthcare are only masking the symptoms. And so that's really not what we want to talk about. We want to talk about how to find permanent solutions. This is not for you if you want to continue to be dependent on your friends and family. It's not for you if you don't want to be able to do your job. It's not for you if you want to go and do a high-risk procedure like surgery without trying conservative things that we know are helpful. So we're going to talk about those conservative things. How do I know today if I'm going to be able to help you? And so there's a really easy test. At Superior Physical Therapy, we get phenomenal results. We get high success. In fact, 85% of the people that come in to see us leave meeting their goals. Now, that goal oftentimes is pain relief. And so 85% of the time, people are meeting that goal. I would say that the reason that is because we're really picky on who we work with. And I know that sounds kind of bad, but let me explain. We give every single person we meet coming to us with hip pain one simple test first. And I'm going to give it to you right now so you can decide for yourself whether or not I'm going to be able to help you today in this episode. And it's really simple. I want you to think to yourself, in the last 2 weeks, what is the activity that you were doing that you had the most hip pain? So you think to yourself, that might be walking, it might be standing, it might be golfing. Whatever it is, you think to yourself what it is and remember that. Now, second question is, how bad was the pain? So 0 to 10, I want you to identify that. So 9 out of 10, and it was when I was walking, as an example. Okay, hopefully you came up with an activity and an intensity. And I would say that's a positive test. That's a good sign. If you can identify a movement that makes you worse and also movements that aren't so bad, that means that this is a movement-related problem. And that's great for me because I'm the movement expert. I'm going to teach you all about ways to improve the motion so that those activities no longer are causing pain. So there's an easy phrase to remember. If your pain is reproducible with movement, then we know that it's reducible by fixing the motion.